Shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
I'm sorry! Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me this week is very special guest host, Kaylee, Once-Over Kaylee, aka Lucy Tightbox. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, so we're excited to have you. Joe Sixpack is on a family vacation. He couldn't be here this week, so we upgraded the show with a little extra something extra for our audience. And I couldn't be happier to have you here. Kaylee and I have been doing movie watch along shows on Twitch with our Thursday matinee.
Yeah.
And she's very easy to talk to and easy on the eyes. So I asked her for a favor, and I'm sure the audience appreciates it. Instead of seeing the same dumb face twice, they get a break from that.
This is my pleasure. You've been over on my channel a couple of times to talk about movies, and I love doing Thursday matinee with you. So this is I've been waiting for my invite over to All Apologies. So I'm excited to have finally gotten it.
Yeah, it's the best. Joe doesn't know what he's missing out on. But I should say though that we just did Meatballs 4 this past Thursday, and all of those episodes, the show's just kind of getting going. That we had like a Gary Busey triple feature month last month, and all of those watch along things are available free on the Thursday matinee Patreon if you want to see what's going on over there. The real fun of it is doing the watch along while it's live, though, because you can jump in the chat and make the jokes about the movie that we're watching. And we're working on some things to make that element of the show a little more fun. Husey, come back. But it's hard to like have people show up like for appointment television, live on Twitch. But there are a few people that are participating, and we appreciate all those people. But if you want to know what it's about, it's more of just like Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of vibe.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. It's great.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about our other projects and things at the end of this, but we just did the mini bonus show, not to continue with the plugs, but we're talking about Charlie Sheen right now, and what was in the world of Charlie Sheen then was porn star Capri Anderson trying to gold dig money out of him because I don't know, just they were both doing drugs, and he was trying to have sex with a porn star and do drugs with her. And then she thought that she was going to chisel hundreds of thousands of dollars out of him just because he's making $2 million an episode on 2.5 Men. Right.
Hey, she might have. We don't actually know what happened behind closed doors. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe she did eventually get some money.
God, I'm bad at doing fully doing my homework. I didn't think to figure out if they ever settled.
I did not see it anywhere. She seems to be totally off the internet. I mean, again, maybe she's doing porn, but you don't see things about her. Like, there's no conclusion to this story, as far as I can tell. To that part of his story.
Yeah. Well, luckily, the best version of her is still available on Pornhub.
Yes.
You don't want to know what she's up to now. You want to know what she was up to then, and you can find out. We both went and found out.
It's so true.
But today, Charlie Sheen started telling everybody, well, he got fired off of 2.5 Men, and they started highlighting his antics and speculating about why he was let go. He was making a fortune on this show, which is arguably one of the worst shows on television ever, if you ask me. Have you ever seen it?
I
Have you ever-
watched like a little bit of the first couple of seasons when people were losing their shit over it. I could not get through an episode, so I am completely with you on that.
Yeah, it's very, very hack. But for some reason, middle America, they love shit that they don't have to think about, and it's mindless humor. And Charlie Sheen, I mean, Charlie Sheen was phoning it in and just like showing up wasted and carrying on with porn stars when he wasn't on set and just being a problem. So he finally gets let go, and the whole country turns their attention to him and is wondering how he fucked up this gravy train.
Yeah.
And it's all everybody assumes that it's drugs, but he is going to go on and on and on about how he has cleaned up his act with no help from anyone. He just decided that he's not a drug addict anymore. And let's let the clips decide for us whether or not the audience believe that Charlie Sheen is not on drugs.
Not on drugs in these clips.
Yeah.
0 drugs.
So let's start off with the Today's Show interview because that was my favorite. And this is the best version of Charlie Sheen, the drug-fueled egomaniac, nepo baby movie star turned supernova, imploding his whole TV career right in front of our eyes in clip 1.
Are you clean right now?
Look at me, duh. Drug tests don't lie.
When was the last time you did drugs?
Don't remember, don't care. Drug tests don't lie. Scoreboard doesn't lie.
You say you've cured yourself
Yes.
of addiction. You don't
Yes,
need
I have.
Alcoholics Anonymous. How have you done that?
I closed my eyes and made it so with the power of my mind. I had to unload 22 years of fiction and just decided that I don't believe that anymore. And I know my own truth. And that's what I stand on right now.
He's out of his mind.
All the best interviews start with duh. That's like the best way to start an interview.
Oh my God. The other thing, I just want to talk about his appearance for a quick second before we get into the absurd words that he said. He is emaciated. He looks like he's lost a ton of weight.
Mhm.
And when you look at the rest of the clips from this interview, you will notice that his skin color on his face is a different color than his skin color on his décollage, on his neck area.
Okay.
That is because he's wearing face makeup. You can still see, though, and women know this. This is a thing that women notice. We're like, haha, your foundation doesn't match. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
My foundation probably doesn't match right now. But what you'll also notice is that you can still see the black under eye circles because he's on so many drugs that he literally cannot cover up the drug addiction with makeup.
Yeah. He looks
That's impressive.
He looks worse than Trump looked on the Impulsive interview. It's like you can see the orange line, Donald.
Oh my God, it's insane.
He's just like drug tests don't lie. Yeah, but the people that take them do.
Yeah.
It's like this is the confidence of a drug addict that has successfully poured a condom full of clean piss into a drug test without a moderator noticing.
Yeah.
And he's just like so proud of himself.
Also, his whole point is drug tests don't lie. Did he just take a drug test immediately before filming this episode? Is that what he's saying? Like, is he saying right before the interview?
I assume
they drug tested them in the middle of the interview?
There is a second
funny.
interview that we're going to get to where they do bring up the fact that they did drug test him during or after the interview.
That's hilarious.
So everybody just is showing up with handing him a cup and saying pee into this before we
can you imagine? You're like a famous actor with bajillions of dollars. Like, do you think that when Taylor Swift shows up for interviews that they're like, here, pee in this cup? Like, they're not doing that to anybody else.
This interview is what Zendaya used for her character study when she signed on to do Euphoria. She's just like, oh, I'm going to be this guy.
Yeah.
So in clip 2, Charlie wants to point out that AA isn't a path to sobriety, especially if you're a coke fiend that doesn't want to quit coke.
Kind of fiction.
The fiction of AA. It's a silly book written by a broken down fool who was a plagiarist. They think it's a one size fits all, but it didn't fit me, and I just got tired of subscribing to something with a 5% success rate. As a retired gambler, I need better odds than that, you know?
I'm not just addicted to drugs. I'm also addicted to gambling, but nobody wants to talk about that. I'm retired from gambling and I'm not on drugs. How much do you want to bet that I'm not on drugs?
Yeah. Didn't you look at the drug test results? Come on.
He's failing in all the ways.
He's so out of his mind. And I understand the idea that if you are an addict, AA might not work for you. There are plenty of people who are addicts who have said that the 12-step program, that AA does not work for them. His solution to that is insane. I'm just going to go ahead and hint to that. But in addition to that, nothing is working for you because you're clearly on a butt ton of drugs right now.
Yeah. He's keistered all his drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Did he turn to drugs and alcohol out of boredom? The simple answer is no, but also yes in clip 3.
Did you turn to alcohol and other substances because you were bored?
No, I did that because they work.
Work to do what?
I just change the way you see things, change the way you feel. And yeah, when you're a little bit bored with the redundancy of certain aspects of your life, I think that's why people do them.
Did you feel out of control a month or two ago? Do you feel more in control now?
Well, of course, yeah. But I don't know if I'd call it out of control. Just the choices I was making were not leading to the results that I wanted. So I woke up and said, dude, you're 45 with 5 kids. Let's do something different because this thing is boring. I got bored is what happened.
Definitely not boredom.
Yeah. Did you start doing drugs because you were bored? No. It's not because I was bored. It's because I was bored, just not because you said I was bored. And also, I'm not off drugs.
Also, I did drugs when I was bored. I did drugs when I was happy. I did drugs when I was sad. I did drugs when I was hungry. I did drugs when I was, lazy, when I was cold, when I was warm.
Yeah.
All of the times.
Right. And oh my God, it's just so wild that you would go on. This is, I mean, it says a recorded interview, but I think at the time it was live. So he's on live TV behaving like this and thinks that he's getting away with something.
And he did multiple interviews around this time period, which is just bonkers. Like, isn't his publicist or like PR dude being like, stop saying yes to the interviews already? Like, just shush while you're on the drugs. I'll give you drugs if you shut up. Like,
he wasn't even saying yes to every interview. He was just calling into shows. We're going to get to some of that. He would just show up on shows because he was in a flame war with Chuck Lorre, the creator of 2.5 Men. So they're trying to take his livelihood away. And he goes running to any and all show that'll pick up the phone on him, which is everybody, because he was such a shit show that everybody's like, oh yeah, let's talk to Charlie Sheen. So it's not even that he's saying yes. He's screaming from a mountaintop about this. And the crazy part is that he kind of wasn't wrong. He's wrong when he says I'm not on drugs, but he's right about everything that Chuck Lorre did to him and owed him. And I will get into that in a little bit, but Charlie starts talking about his own rehab so that he can control how much he regulates his own drug use. And you'll be surprised to learn that a drug addict was happy with those conditions where they could say, yeah, I think I'm good with this amount of coke.
Well, we couldn't really call it rehab because we didn't have a license to operate one. So it was a crisis management center that we labeled the Sober Valley Lodge.
You labeled your house the Sober Valley Lodge.
Well, yeah, that's what it became.
So what happened?
And we wouldn't allow AA to be a part of it. We wouldn't allow AA to contaminate Sober Valley Lodge. And as a result, its primary client achieved radical success.
Radical success.
It's radically successful when nobody is regulating there's no regulation of a metric of success for how much drugs I am or am not on at Sober Valley. I love Sober Valley Lodge. I'm going to start calling my house that. That's so ridiculous.
Well, you're going to have to start doing a lot more drugs if you're going to call your house Sober Valley Lodge. That's what I've heard about that place.
Yeah. And I think the house is made out of drugs.
Yeah.
And Charlie, aren't you concerned about what your kids will think when they grow up and watch your behavior and your antics in the public eye like this in clip 5?
But people have said you're a violent person toward women. What do you say to that?
They don't know me. And the same people talking about those incidents weren't there. So how much can they really discuss a situation they were not involved with? At that point, it's all just judgment and opinion and just the gibberish of fools.
You told me you want to rededicate yourself now to your kids, to being a dad.
Sure.
Are you embarrassed that your children will read about this one day?
God, no. It's talking about an education. And then like this, and then that's the guy, and he's our dad, and we can get all the answers and the truth. Wow, winning. It's how you perceive it.
Yeah. I see Ed. He's like, oh, the winning thing. Now he's remembering the catchphrase.
Winning.
This is where all that started coming from, the tiger blood shit. And it's funny that he's perceiving that he'll even be alive in the future, right?
Yeah.
That he lives long enough to survive a speedball mega dose, and his kids are looking at him even 5 years from now, still able to articulate a sentence in that, and that's tantamount to winning as far as Charlie's concerned. And he's right, by the way, that he's fine if he doesn't need our help. Which that brings up a good question. Like, how much money is fuck you money? Because everybody is saying you got a problem, you got a problem, you got a problem, and he's like, I don't have a care in the world, and you can take everything away from me, and I'm gonna be just fine. So he's living the American dream.
Yeah. He could do whatever he wants. Also, just talking about his kids a little bit, I think that the only thing that I've seen ever so he has 5 kids, right? With multiple women.
At this point, at this time. I don't know now. Like it's probably different, but
so the only thing that I have seen since this interview, so like as of 2024, about him interacting with his kids publicly is I know he got into a thing where one of his daughters had started doing OnlyFans, and he was like, don't do that. And then he reneged on it, and he was like, oh, okay, it's all right if you do that. And that's like the only thing that I've seen. So like that's your rededication to your children is don't do OnlyFans. All right, if you got to do OnlyFans, then
because this all revolves around his being fired off 2.5 Men and his antics that we're talking about right now. But the other thing that we don't even get into is when he came out that he has AIDS a couple of years ago, and he knew that he had AIDS for 4 years and never mentioned it. It finally, I don't know if it was 2020, I thought it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Finally, he's just like, oh yeah, I've had AIDS forever.
I will actually give him credit for this. So there have been studies done. Apparently, I think it's called the Charlie Sheen effect. He has done more for HIV research than like the UN, than all of those different things combined. Because when he announced that he had HIV, everybody started Googling, how do I get an HIV test? How do I do this? Like, is this important for me to, how can I transmit HIV? So they actually attribute more knowledge about HIV to his coming out about it than to any of the actual work that they did.
Yeah.
So great job using dirty needles or fucking horse. Charlie Sheen.
It reminds me of the South Park Magic Johnson episode where Magic Johnson is just like liquefying money and injecting it into himself, and that's how you cure AIDS. And that's Charlie Sheen's work with drawing awareness to AIDS, is him basically, it's self-serving. He's trying to make strides in the treatment just so that he can go back to fucking Capri Anderson or whatever he's trying to do. But
another girl who looks like Denise Richards. Come on. He has to change it up a little.
Yeah. So I mentioned he was just calling anyone and everybody to throw Chuck Lorre under the bus. And one of those people is a lot younger Alex Jones. And you have to love it when somebody out crazies Alex Jones. You're
Yeah.
gonna watch the look on Alex Jones' face during a lot of these remarks. Alex Jones is becoming the Alex Jones we know today by watching Charlie Sheen do it first in these clips. Okay, so let's check this out in clip 6.
My motto now is you either love or you hate, and you must do so violently. And the reason you must hate violently is because, and you have to hate everybody that's not in your family, because they're there to destroy your family. And they will come at you in all forms and shapes. And therefore, there's nothing in the middle. I don't live in the middle anymore. That's where you get slaughtered. That's where you get embarrassed in front of the prom queen. And it's just not an option. So, within that is tremendous focus and tremendous clarity and tremendous peace, because you have absolute and total resolve about your decisions. If you love with violence and you hate with violence, there's nothing that can be questioned. And people say, oh, you're going to work through your resentments. Yeah, no, I'm going to hang on to them, and they're going to fuel my attack. And they're going to fuel the battle cry of my deadly and dangerous secret and silent soldiers, because they're all around you. Anyway.
That is the face of a man who knows that a camera is on him and he has no choice but to pretend like he's not freaking the fuck out in his mind.
Yeah.
What did Charlie just say?
No, don't try to translate it. It's not possible.
It's a false flag operation.
Right, yeah.
Like,
have you ever seen Alex Jones be that quiet ever?
He's
in
never been
life?
speechless in his life. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was really beautiful.
I know, because that's kind of what a lot of people say Joe Rogan is good at. When a lunatic starts flying off the handle, just let him go.
Shut up.
That's good for your show. That's good for ratings. And it's bad for Charlie Sheen. So here, as the interview goes on, we arrive at the other touchstone of this Charlie Sheen era, which is the winning era. We've already heard that a little bit, and he's just losing his mind to Alex Jones about it.
You're just messing with one dude. Sorry. Winning.
Well, Charlie, I mean, I tell you, it is amazing. And I just appreciate you coming on today so folks can really hear the energized, unleashed Charlie Sheen. You wanted to talk about AA because, when I was at your house, I said, man, great job being completely sober and, how important it was.
But I can't use the word sober because that's a term from those people. And I'm not myself. I closed my eyes and it's a nanosecond I cured myself from this ridiculous model of disease and addiction and obsession. It's just the work of sissies. The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning. This bootleg cult, arrogantly referred to as Alcoholics Anonymous, Alex supports a 5% success rate. My success rate is 100%. Do the math. Take, for instance, its founder, a desperate and, broken down plagiarist, stayed high on acid until the day he died. I can't seem to find that chapter in his silly book of lies. And then, Alex, try to get your mind around this as a fellow warrior deep in the trenches. Their entire manifesto is built upon complete and total surrender, or the concept of complete and total surrender. They urge you to put down your sword and come join the winners. In 22 years, the only winners I can locate in their toothless warren were either driving a convertible van or living like trolls under some abandoned bridge. Another one of their stupid mottos, Alex, is don't be special, be one of us. Newsflash, I am special, and I will never be one of you.
I cured myself using InfoWars toothpaste.
Yeah.
It's like Alex Jones is learning so much from Charlie Sheen, and it's weird to see Alex Jones. I don't know. He looks a lot obviously younger and different and quiet.
The quiet is interesting.
Yeah, he's just letting him go on. And even Alex Jones is at a loss for words in this next clip. Oh, sorry, Ed.
There it is.
You sound like Thomas Jefferson.
Well, I'm not Thomas Jefferson. He was a pussy. No, but I dare anyone to debate me on things. Debate me on AA right now. I have a disease? Bullshit. I cured it with my brain, with my mind. I'm cured. I'm done. well, we all have to sit in here and touch ourselves and frown. Well, you don't look like you're having a lot of fun. I'm going to hang out with these two smoking hotties and fly privately around the world. It might be lonely up here, but I sure like the view, Alex.
You got 4 tits and a PJ. How can you argue with that, Alex?
I watched that whole interview when I was preparing to come on with you, and I totally missed over the fact that he called Thomas Jefferson a pussy.
I know, it's crazy.
That's amazing, and I love it. I remember him insulting Thomas Jefferson. I do not remember him saying pussy, because he just does this stream of consciousness where I can't even focus on any of the words that he's saying. That's hilarious.
But he does have like some talking points about. He keeps mentioning the 5% AA success rate, and just the curing himself with the power of his mind. He's trying to create a narrative that doesn't exist. But what do you got, Ed?
Okay, so the quote here is, although AA has been criticized by some sources as having a low success rate, the rate likely isn't 5%, like some say it is. Seven addiction specialists cite success rates slightly higher, between 8 and 12%. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to get you in the Hall of Fame, but let's say it's closer to 12%.
Yeah. Still not great.
Yeek.
Maybe it's not worth quitting, is what Charlie Sheen is saying. But I mean, I think his problem is like the religious angle on it. They want you to surrender your whole life to God, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with that part of AA. So I could see why he would resist that. But also, what are your options?
Well, his option is stay on drugs and do a lot of interviews while on drugs. I think that that's the option that he has selected.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to like fill that void with something else. You just get into whatever CrossFit or something that's productive instead of destructive. And I don't know. He, like I said, he knows it. He has fuck you money. He can afford all the drugs. A lot of people get into trouble robbing and stealing and committing crimes because they're trying to get money for drugs. He doesn't have that problem. So, and he knows it. So at this stage in the media circus, Charlie is losing patience with losers taking him to task, and he's winning. And what are you doing? So he's gonna, what he's not doing is combing his hair and quitting smoking, because this is the fucking craziest interview I've ever seen. You thought he was crazy before? Let's watch this clip.
Your anger and your hate, I think, is coming off as erratic to people.
My passion. It's all
okay,
passion.
Your passion is coming off as erratic to people.
Well, you borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, dude, can't handle it. Unplug this bastard. Yeah, because it fires in a way that is, I don't know, maybe not from this particular terrestrial realm.
I think some of those things that you're putting out there are making people think something's wrong with you.
That has nothing to do with me, really. I mean, they're entitled to, I suppose, interpret stuff as they must.
When you say things like terrestrial realm, Charlie, people start to question whether or not you're completely
if you're sane. Yeah.
I know. How many cracks have you smoked today, Charlie?
How many cracks are in that cigarette?
Yeah. Oh my God. So you could just tell, like, how many interviews has he done before he just gave up on the decorum of sitting through these conversations where he's just like, smoke him if you got him. Yeah. Another fucking day of people asking me if I'm on drugs or not.
I do notice that there are no lamps in his direct vicinity, just in case he were to start trying to pick things up and throw them.
All the lamps are bolted to the floor at this point. And this might be one of my favorite clips of all time. And I'm saying that this is going to live on my drop board and in my heart for the rest of my life.
What are you a doctor of? What
Some
you a
are saying
doctor
that
of?
you're bipolar.
Wow, what does that mean?
I guess that you're on two ends of the spectrum.
Wow. And then what? What's the cure? Medicine? Make me like them? Not going to happen. I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what? If I'm bipolar, aren't there moments where a guy like crashes and like in the corner, like, oh my God, it's all my mom's fault? Shut up. Shut up. Stop. Move forward.
Have you?
By winning.
By winning. I think this clip when I found this on YouTube was called "By Winning." So whenever you feel, go ahead.
That's incredible. That's like I had never heard that before. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Whenever you feel down about yourself and you have imposter syndrome or low self-esteem, just play this "By Winning" clip and tell all your detractors to shut up. Just shut up. What are you talking
When I'm
about?
crying in the corner, I can just say, "Oh wait, I'm by winning. It's fine."
Right. Now all you need is $2 million an episode for Once-Over.
All right.
You'll be
We'll get there. We'll get there.
You're working on it. And some idiots say, "Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are." And let's see how this plays out for Charlie Sheen.
Had any celebrities reach out to you to try and help you?
Yeah, like radical people like Sean Penn and Mel Gibson and Colin Farrell and just radical people, and they're not telling me what to do.
Who gave you the best piece of advice?
Well, they didn't give me any advice, and within that, there's great advice. It was just love, and so just to see. It's oftentimes says unknown, but occasionally a giant marquee name comes through on your caller ID, and it's like winning.
I am sure that those people all gave him advice.
People that are totally not unhinged, like Mel Gibson and Sean Penn and Colin Farrell. Those guys have never been a problem in the media, have they?
No, never. Yeah. They weren't at this time, though.
Not this time, but they're like, "Hey, it's your turn." So they don't boo nobodies, Charlie.
It's true. They were probably like, "All right, my advice is that you do these drugs. Here you go."
No. Yeah, Mel Gibson is giving him advice. And so they have the blueprint about how to handle that. They're just telling him what to do next, which is just keep yelling winning. And Charlie needs to give a TED talk about he needs to produce a master class about how to be a crackhead. This is impressive to both drug addicts and sober people in clip 12.
Last time you used?
I use a blender, I use a vacuum cleaner, I use household items. When was the last time I ingested or took drugs?
Yes, when was the last time you took drugs?
Such an AA stupid expression or term. I don't remember. I do not remember.
A week ago, 2 weeks ago,
maybe a month
2 days
ago,
ago.
6 weeks. I don't know. It was a couple days before the suits rolled in and said, change everything. We're shutting you down.
Tell me about the last time you took drugs.
The last time I took drugs, I probably took more than anybody could survive.
What are we talking about? How much?
I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed. I have one gear. Go.
How do you survive that?
Because I'm me.
Tiger blood, baby. Winning.
Yeah, you can't argue with that logic. But
dude, I love that clip. Him, when he gets asked, when is the last time that you used? And he's like, I use a blender. I use a vacuum cleaner. That is iconic. That's iconic. Like, that makes me like him again. I'm like, oh, wait, that's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. It would be even more amazing, except that we know that he just kind of went into obscurity from here. If he had gone on to like turn his life around and like be a marquee name again, like Robert Downey Jr., let's say, I mean, he still can, but aside from, shockingly, Chuck Lorre was the last person that gave him a chance.
That was what I was going to bring that up.
Oh, okay.
Crazy that he started working with Chuck Lorre again.
Are you referring to Bookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was only in like one scene of one episode of that show, which I will say, I hate Chuck Lorre. I like that show. Out of everything that Chuck Lorre has ever done, Big Bang Theory shit, whatever the Bob Loves Abba show, any Chuck Lorre project, I just walk right past it. I don't want anything to do with it. And I also never had any respect for Sebastian Maniscalco, who is the whatever, it's a co-lead show. But I like Sebastian now. I give Chuck Lorre credit. I still hate Chuck Lorre, but that's a good show. And I like Sebastian now, which I never thought I would. So, but like I said, that's the only thing that I've seen Charlie Sheen in since all of this.
Yeah. Well, in the same way that you just said that, you walk past anything with Chuck Lorre, I would think that Chuck Lorre would walk past any opportunity to work with Charlie Sheen. So I was pretty surprised when I saw that was on his, IMDb or whatever the fuck.
I'm sure he wasn't on set that day.
Yeah, I suspect that people intentionally kept them apart.
Yeah. And we're going to get into why a little bit here, because this is another epic quote that I'm going to add to my soundboard in clip 13.
Because I'm me, I'm different. I just have a different constitution. I have a different brain. I have a different heart. I have a different, I get tiger blood, man.
You don't worry that you're going to die when you take that many drugs.
Dying's for fools.
But you're only human.
Now, there's certain blends I will not entertain because that's how people go down. I'm too smart to do that. So, I'm sorry for the guys that happened to, but you should have read the directions before you showed up at the party.
So
can you look me in the eye when you say that, though?
No.
Tiger blood is legendary, but you should have read the directions.
Before you showed up to the party. That's
one of the funniest things.
Oh my God.
He's a god. He's just a god.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Ed's in love.
I would go down on him in 2 seconds. I'd take his aids. I'm down. I'm in. I love him so much.
He wouldn't even have to pay you $2,500 to come to dinner. You're just already there.
Five. That's all I need.
Yeah, a Crunchwrap Supreme and $5.
All right. Well, we already agreed that that's all I need also, so I can't judge.
So these ramblings, if they weren't coming out of the guy from Young Guns, if this was just some guy that showed up to AA, you'd have him committed on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're exactly right with the fuck you money question. So if a guy on the street came up to me and started saying these words, I would hate him. But because it's Charlie Sheen, and for some reason it becomes an addictive train wreck, I can't look away. And all of a sudden, I think he's hilarious.
Yes.
I mean, in a sad way, but
yeah. All right. Let's hear a little more of this interview in clip 14.
Exciting. I've come back from a place that, people can put labels on it and they can figure all this stuff out. They can try to normalize it, boring, stupid, and that's fine. But for me, it's I've just answered to a higher calling and it happened in the blink of an eye and I'm totally excited by it,
Because like you said, it's Charlie Sheen and his personal assistant is just walking around going, yeah, Charlie had a long night. He's not himself today. Don't worry about the psychosis. He just needs a snack. And everybody's just like, okay, we'll call you when they're ready for you on set. And
he just needs to use the blender. It's fine.
He's using his blender, aka drugs.
Yeah.
All right. So this is how I plan to deal with thoughts of regret going on. I'm just going to start taking all of Charlie Sheen's advice in clip 15.
You worried you're going to relapse?
No.
Why?
Because I'm not going to, period, the end.
But how do you
I blinked
know?
and I blinked and I cured my brain. That's how. Everybody has the power just because everybody, can't is the cancer of happen.
Mm-hmm.
Can't is the cancer of happen. I can't do it. The Nike slogan doesn't say, just try it. Oh, okay. Just try it. No, just do it, man.
But you love to party.
I mean, what's not to love?
How do
Especially
you?
when you see how I party, man. It was epic. The run I was on made Sinatra, Flynn, Jagger, Richards, all of them just look like, droopy-eyed, armless children.
When you look back at the last time you used drugs, are you disgusted with yourself? Or do you think, how could I have done that?
I'm proud of what I've created. It was radical.
You're proud of that party moment?
Of course. Why wouldn't I be?
Drugs?
No,
Why would you be?
Because I expose people to magic. I expose them to something they're never otherwise going to see in their boring, normal lives. And I gave that to them. I may forget about them tomorrow, but they'll live with that memory for the rest of their lives. And that's a gift, man.
He's not wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, the gift of a story about when a drug-fueled Charlie Sheen walked in with no pants on and just started shitting on the floor. That's a gift that I gave you. You're never going to forget that. That's just, like, the craziest way to justify your drug problem.
I kind of agree with him on this one. I'm going to be honest. I'm pro Charlie Sheen now.
I'm subscribing to Charlie's channel at this point. Yeah, we're all in with this guy.
Yeah.
So some people might be asking at this point, Trucker Andy, there's what does this have to do with apologies? And my answer is nothing. And this guy is the most unapologetic maniac, and I love it. But I did find an apology in this interview.
One of the women said that she was afraid she might OD. One of the women who was here.
What's that got to do with me?
You're showing them the party.
I just, that's got nothing to do with me. That's all on her. And if she does, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was so sincere.
Sorry you OD'd. You didn't read the directions. What does that have to do with me? Yeah, maybe something. Maybe you brought the drugs.
That's incredible. So it's funny because as I was coming on today, I was like, when did Charlie Sheen apologize?
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to look it up because I want to be surprised because I want the moment to be like a special moment for me where I just want him to be in the drug-fueled rage. I am glad that the apology happened in a drug-fueled rage and was completely insincere and was nothingness. I am really happy that was the very minimal apology.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what my show is evolving into. It's really just me talking about what I want to talk about and trying to justify it because I'm sick of covering YouTubers that nobody's ever heard of. Nobody wants to talk about that, but we can talk about this all day. So.
If you ever want to talk about YouTubers, I am really into doing that. Also, I've been hearing some things about Charlotte the Stingray, and I think there's going to be a big apology about that soon.
Okay,
terrific. I'm just
I will
saying.
Keep my ears open for that.
Yes.
If you're saying it's worth talking about, I will talk about it. But I look at the metrics and like the analytics of the downloads, and when we talk about politicians and YouTubers, the numbers go down.
I think you're making the right choice here. Also, I'm very happy that you made this choice because again, now I get to listen to Charlie Sheen be a lunatic. I mean, passionate, I suppose, is what we're calling it. For as long as this episode is, and it's great.
Yeah, and everybody wants to know: is Charlie actually on drugs? He seems higher than fucking Neptune right now. So let's prove it in clip 17.
You say that you like the feeling of being on drugs and it's
not
exciting
anymore,
and fun.
Not anymore. It bored the hell out of me after a while. I was like, okay, let's try something else.
How can anyone believe that you will stay clean, given your track record?
I'm not interested in what people believe. I'm interested in what I believe, and I believe in the truth. And that's what rules me.
And Charlie Sheen did end up taking that drug test while we were in his home. He passed the urine test, but also took a more comprehensive blood test that would reveal if even more drugs were taken.
Oh, so he passed your test, and but your bonus test that you don't have the results for might prove you right eventually. So that's,
you would reveal the results.
Yeah, it's a great way for you to say that you were wrong in the most roundabout way. But seriously, he's high as fuck.
Yeah. If he isn't high as fuck and then drugs have altered his mind to the extent that is his normal, and that's almost more troubling.
Right.
I would like him to be high as fuck here.
Yeah, I don't want to learn that this is what he's actually like sober.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. The universe where that is Charlie Sheen sober and healthy is not a universe that I want to live in.
Yeah. And you and I have been talking a lot about lunatics on Thursday Matinee. We covered a lot of Gary Busey and his Charlie's got those catchphrases. He's been having these mantras that are akin to a Gary Busey. We're talking about Corey Feldman now. I'm getting a lot of Corey Feldman vibes from Charlie Sheen here too. So
Well,
these guys are
Corey
all-
Feldman also was worried about the vibes from Charlie Sheen.
yeah, he got all the vibes. It was ribbed for Corey's pleasure.
Yeah.
So in this clip, this is the Corey Feldman vibe that Charlie is giving me.
Were you shocked when they shut down 2.5 Men again indefinitely?
Yeah, I was actually disappointed because I thought, I think the mistakes I made is that people misinterpret my passion for anger.
Stopping the show is costing an estimated $250 million all around.
It's going to cost them
everybody
a lot
involved.
more. It's going to cost them a lot more because they're on a battlefield and they let their emotions and their ego, basically they strapped on their diapers. And so they're in breach. They're in radical breach. And sorry, guys, you screwed up.
Are you going to sue?
Well, I mean, wouldn't you? I don't have a job. I got a whole family to support and love. And people beyond
Drugs
myself,
to do.
a lot more important than me, are relying on that money to fuel the magic.
What are you going to sue for?
Tons. They're going to actually put it on a scale and be like, little more, little more. Add some gold, add some gold. Bingo. I'm here to collect.
Yeah. So I don't know. That kind of sounds like Corey Feldman to me. Like it sounds like something he would say.
It does. Very litigious.
Yeah. And I wonder what it is about these lifelong Hollywood types, that makes them so manic like this. It just, is it a personality disorder? Is it just growing up with like an entitlement? Corey would say it's molestation and razzle trip, but I just I don't understand how somebody gets to this place in their brain where they're just on another planet like this.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it happens, when you become famous. I think that your brain chemistry changes in a lot of ways and you deal with narcissism in an entirely different way. And so you probably go through these phases where it almost is sort of bipolar, where like there are days where you really like it and you feel like you're exactly where you should be. And then there are days where you're like, what the fuck is happening? And I can't have any privacy. And that probably trips people up a whole bunch. That's probably where it starts. And then it snowballs until you become Charlie Sheen yelling, winning.
Yeah. And he does end up winning when it comes to this long fought battle with Chuck Lorre to the tune of a $25 million settlement that will mature into $100 million over syndication rights. So he was winning. Yeah, I mean he's fine, and he's also not working, so he needs that $125 million.
Well, he needs drugs.
Yeah, I know. How much
both for the HIV and for his nose.
Well, between Kaylee and I mean, he's going to start our cult, so it's going to be fun.
Yes. Yes. That's how he's making money now. With the
Yes,
tiger blood cult.
We have to pay money into the cult.
All right.
I just sold all of my assets and gave all my money to Charlie Sheen.
This segment is going to get buttoned up pretty nicely with a super twitchy Charlie submitting to a drug test in clip 20.
About the people who supply you with drugs, are they out of your life?
I again, I cannot speak about things that that are sort of, that's really nobody's business. I think you know the answer to that,
Are you willing to take a drug test?
Sure, you got a cup. I mean, I got nothing to hide.
What is he playing with?
Who the fuck? This is something he found on the floor, I think. It's just the most bizarre way. He's got all the money in the world. I swear he has just gotten clean piss injected into his bladder. So he knows that he's going to pass these drug tests.
That's actually a really funny idea. He had a second bladder implanted, and one of the bladders only has clean piss in it.
Something. He's definitely figured something out.
You're totally. I think you're right.
He's not worried about being drug tested.
No,
which means
he has somebody going. He's got a body double.
Yeah, that's it.
He
might be-
did Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah.
He's got a body double to go in and piss for him.
All right. That might be it.
Yeah.
I love him
Alright.
so much. I want to marry him. I know
So
that's
now-
legal. We can do that now.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you don't have to convince me. You have to convince Charlie.
I would recommend a prenup. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think he wants to protect himself against losing money to you. I think you should protect yourself against him in general.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Future earnings.
Yes.
Good luck with your aids.
Yeah.
So now we're going to jump 2 years into the future where Charlie is now retrospective about these interviews on the Conan O'Brien show. And drugs or not, Charlie seems to have, he seems to be on the same thing that David Lee Roth is afflicted with or gifted with. So I don't know where this demeanor stems from. If you're saying that you're sober and you're behaving like this, you must have a traumatic brain injury or something.
I have not spoken to you since the whole event. It's been 2 years since we spoke. A lot's happened in that time.
For both of us.
For both of us.
I love it. I love it. Oh my
Let's
God.
talk about. What do you refer to that period for
You're
yourself?
so funny. I'm sweating.
No, it was. It might have been the tank.
You think
too.
so? Right.
Yeah. The period that you went through. What do you refer to that as? Is it?
I was calling it a meltdown.
Mhm.
Then I sort of changed my perspective, and I'm calling it a melt forward.
Melt forward.
Yes. Yeah.
So you melted,
Right.
and then
I harnessed it.
You harnessed it, and you the liquid poured forward
like a mercury volcano.
like a mercury volcano.
Yeah.
You shot forward.
Downhill with no brakes.
No brakes. You
Yes.
said some interesting
And no
things.
plan. Let's do this. What are we doing? Not sure.
Whatever he's on, Dr. Roxo wants some because
Yes.
he's always on. If that's like the clean version of him, he still
seems insane.
unhinged. Yeah, it's wild.
And I mean, you have to be a certain level of, boisterous if you're going to be in Hollywood and you're going to be doing interviews and stuff. But he never just seems like a happy-go-lucky guy. He seems like a drugged out fucking hobo that's like on the side of the street. I almost called him a homo. Maybe that explains the HIV. I don't know.
Yeah. But this is the last clip of this segment. There seems to be a reasonable explanation for all of this in clip 22.
Okay, you also blame testosterone cream. Want to talk about that?
I can only say that don't smoke that stuff.
It's got to be hard to light. Were you using testosterone cream at the time?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, they said a dollop the size of a quarter, and I thought they meant a quarter ounce.
So we're using a lot of
and just, like,
testosterone
rubbing
cream.
and crazy and rubbing it, just like, again, let's do this thing. What are we doing? Not sure. And yeah, nuts, like on this elevated platform of like Uber Vision.
Okay.
Don't smoke creams ever.
Add to cart and send. Okay. Well, there you have it, Kaylee. It's all because of testosterone cream.
Maybe that's why he was peeing clean, because he was smoking things that we don't even know how to test for.
That maybe he was injecting tiger blood and testosterone cream.
Yeah. He wasn't on cocaine. He was on something that us plebes, us poor people, don't even have the concept of. We've never even heard the word of it because it's so for the rich.
Right. Yeah. If anybody can get their hands on the premium shit, it's Charlie.
Yeah, it's true.
But the people that are also winning are our paid tier Patreon members, Kaylee. I want to take this moment to shout out Simon and MC, Hall & Oates, Leo, Fun Kilo, Tigrin, Aaron, Kyle, Balsam, Nicola, Doug, Hunter Duke, Tyler, Bob K, Principled Uncertainty, Sean, Orange Julius, Brian, Notorious Cretin, Waylon, Bad at Karate, Tony, Wahid, Kate, Ray Guitard, Kaylee, you might know Ray Guitard, Kyle, SJ, Hank, Jackie Marlowe, Ann, and Trevor. Thanks so much, guys, for supporting the show. And I'd like to encourage anybody else, if you're enjoying this episode, if you're enjoying Kaylee and you want more Kaylee, please subscribe to the $5 tier on Patreon, because we did the Capri Anderson, Charlie Sheen porn star attacker, gold digger. And we did an extra large mini. We usually keep the mini to about under 20 minutes, but this one ran long because we had so much fun talking.
Well, there was porn to talk about, drugs.
Yeah.
Who are we to stop? Also, I just want to say that is an amazing list of Patreon subscribers. I love that I recognize many of those names. So I just want to say hi to all those people and say thank you to subscribing to the All Apologies Podcast Patreon, because that's great.
Yes, we really do appreciate it, because Kaylee knows that there's expenses that come with putting these shows on, and because of those people, we're able to continue to put on the show. But you can also support the show for free by rating and reviewing it wherever you listen to podcasts, and following us on Instagram, where I put a lot of extra supplemental content. And you can also join the Patreon for free. I do put free content on there, so you don't have to support the show financially. You can just support the show as a fan. And everybody should also support everything that Kaylee's doing. She has a great show called Once-Over with Kaylee, where they do a lot of movie reviews. And I know there are a lot of great things on the horizon. What do you got coming up?
Yes. So coming out this week is going to be the review of Crybaby, which I did with my friend Adam. I just put out a review of Serial Mom, so obviously I was on a little bit of a John Waters kick. Yeah. Coming after that, I'll be doing some more year reviews. So one of the things that I like to do regularly is talk about 5 movies from a particular year that you probably haven't seen that I think are really great. So I'll be doing 1991 coming up soon, as well as the movie Society with the Vern from Cinema Recall. And some other fun stuff. I'm roping producer Chris, Carl, Jenny Jingles, and Dr. Steve all into stuff this month. So lots and lots and lots of fun stuff there.
Yeah. And you can see more of us on Thursday. We're on Twitch with the Thursday Matinee channel. We're going to be talking about Lost Boys 2, more Corey Feldman. And of course, you can find us both on the Wednesday edition of Who Are These Podcasts? Or we record it on Wednesday. It comes out Thursday, but you can watch it live on Wednesday.
Yes, watch it live. Join that Patreon. There are so many Patreons to subscribe to.
Yes.
They're all worth it.
Kaylee's Patreon.
I was just going to say the same thing.
How
about mine, obviously.
Yeah. You want to watch Kaylee, dig into the freezer and come out with a bunch of popsicles. There's definitely a lot worth seeing. In the Stuttering Johnson review was, I was embarrassed to watch it, but if you sign up and you watch it alone, you're going to have a lot of fun.
I was embarrassed to perform it, so I understand.
Okay, Kaylee, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next week, stay sorry.
Yes.